I used to think the smart move was simple. Buy the S&P 500, keep adding money, and never think about it again. That sounds safe. It sounds grown up. But here's the mistake a lot of good people make, including me. We confuse popular with protected. We assume one index can handle every season of life, and it can't. Not because it's bad, but because life doesn't move in a straight line. You don't get to choose when you need money. A job loss, a medical bill, a retirement date, those things don't wait for the market to be in a good mood. So in this video, I'm going to give you a simple plan that's stronger than just the S&P 500. Not a fancy plan, not a risky plan, a clear plan. 5 ETFs, each with one job. One is your base, one pays you cash along the way, one is protection for rough years, one spreads your money outside the US, and one is a small growth engine for the future. Think of it like this. The S&P 500 is one strong pillar, but a house on one pillar is still easy to knock over. A house with 5 pillars stands when the weather changes. And this matters because the real trap isn't a bad day in the market. The trap is a long stretch where stocks go nowhere while your life keeps moving forward. That's when people panic, sell at the wrong time, or feel like they did everything right and still got stuck. My goal today is to help you avoid that story. And if you stay with me, I'll show you the one pillar most people skip, the one that can help you stay calm when the market gets loud. I want to share a mistake that feels smart in the moment. It's the mistake of doing the right thing and still getting stuck. You buy the S&P 500, you keep adding money. You tell yourself, this is safe, this is what responsible people do. Then life happens. You need money at the wrong time, and suddenly, safe doesn't feel safe anymore. So here's my promise to you. In this video, I'll show you 5 ETFs that build a stronger plan than just the S&P 500. Not a complicated plan, a clearer one. Because the trap is not the S&P 500 itself. The trap is thinking one thing can do every job. That's like building a house on one post and calling it a fortress. A real fortress has different parts doing different work. And here's why it matters. If you hit a bad decade at the wrong time, when you're retiring or paying bills or trying to stay afloat, you may be forced to sell when prices are down. That's not because you're weak, it's because you had only one tool. And if you stay with me, I'll show you pillar number 3, the one that can help you stay calm when the market gets loud. Now, let's go back to a real decade, because this already happened. Think about the early 2000s. The dot-com boom ended and stocks fell hard. Then they climbed back. People finally felt okay again. Then 2008 hit and stocks fell hard again during the financial crisis. 2 big drops in one stretch. If you were still working and buying every month, that pain could turn into a chance. But if you were retiring, it was a different story. Picture someone who retired around 2000. They didn't pick crazy stocks. They owned the safe index. Then the market dropped and their account shrank. They told themselves, just wait, it will come back. It did come back, and then it dropped again. And now the problem is not the market. The problem is timing. Rent is due. Food costs money. You can't pay bills with patience. So people sell shares when they're down, not because they want to, but because they have to. That moment is the lesson. It's not only what you invest in, it's when you need the money. And when one plan depends on the market must be up when I need it, that's a trap. That's what I call the S&P 500 trap. So the goal isn't to guess the next crash. The goal is to build a system that works in any weather, up years, down years, and those long flat years in the middle. And that's where our 5 pillars start. Here's the operating system that makes this whole plan work. It's 3 words. Always be buying. ABB. That's it. Most people don't lose because they pick the wrong ETF. They lose because they change their plan in the middle of stress. They buy when they feel brave, and they stop when they feel scared. So instead of trying to be a hero, we act like a builder. Builders don't guess. Builders follow a schedule.
Same plan on the 1st and 15th of every month, no matter what the news says. When the market is up, you buy. When the market is down, you buy. When your coworkers are panicking, you buy a little more. Because a crash is scary when you're guessing, but a crash is actually useful when you're steady. It turns into a discount. It turns fear into math. And in a minute, we'll build the 5 pillars that make this system strong, especially the one pillar that is not about growth at all. It's about staying in the game when other people tap out. Now, pillar number 1 is the base. This is the boring part, and boring is good. This pillar holds the big U.S. companies. It's the simple bet that over a long time, American business keeps working. Here's the key contrast. If you buy one stock, you're taking one company risk. One bad CEO decision, one scandal, one industry shift, and your money can get crushed. But when you buy a broad ETF, you spread your risk across many companies at once. You're not betting on one name, you're betting on the whole engine of the country. For this pillar, you want a low-cost S&P 500 ETF, the kind that owns the biggest 500 U.S. companies and charges a tiny fee each year. This is where the biggest chunk of your money goes, because it is the foundation that does the heavy lifting over time. But the bedrock has a problem. It's a great builder of wealth, but it doesn't solve one big real-life issue. It doesn't pay your bills unless you sell shares, and that's exactly why Pillar 2 matters. Pillar 2 fixes the bedrock problem, because the bedrock grows your money, but it does not help you pay for life unless you sell shares. And selling shares is fine when the market is up, but it can feel awful when the market is down. So Pillar 2 has one simple job: pay you along the way. This is where a dividend ETF comes in. An ETF is just a basket you can buy in one step, and a dividend is simple too. A dividend is cash a company pays you. It's like getting a small thank you payment for owning a piece of the business.
Here's why that matters in real life. Picture someone who retires in a bad year. The market drops, their account balance drops, but bills do not drop. So they sell shares to pay for food, rent, and life. And when you sell shares after a drop, you lock in the loss. It's like being forced to sell your car right after it got dented. You get the worst price. A dividend ETF can't stop the market from falling, but it can give you another option. Cash shows up without you selling as much. That can help you stay calm, and it can help you avoid selling at the worst time. For this pillar, many people use a quality dividend ETF like SCHD style, because it focuses on solid companies that have a history of paying dividends. Again, not magic, just a tool with a clear job: cash flow while you hold. Now here's the curiosity twist. The next pillar is the one people love to joke about. They call it boring, they call it useless, they say, why would I buy that? It doesn't do anything. And then a year comes where the market drops, fear gets loud, and suddenly that boring pillar becomes the reason they don't panic. That brings us to pillar number 3, the shield. This is a small slice with a big purpose. It is not meant to shoot the lights out. It is meant to help when fear is high. The simple idea is gold, and gold is not for growth, it's for balance. It tends to behave differently than stocks during scary times. Not always, but often enough that it can help your portfolio feel less like a roller coaster. For this pillar, we'll use a low-cost gold ETF in the final plan. The point is not to get rich from gold. The point is to have a piece of your money in something that may hold up better when stocks are falling. Think of it like insurance. You don't buy house insurance because you hope your house burns down. You buy it so you can sleep at night. Same here. You hope you don't need this pillar. That's the point of insurance. It can help you stay steady so you can keep following ABB even when headlines are trying to scare you out of your plan. Okay, now you're protected from one kind of storm. But what if the slow problem is not a crash? What if the slow problem is the US doing okay while the rest of the world does better for a long stretch? That's where pillar number 4 becomes the escape hatch. Pillar number 4 is the escape hatch. Its job is simple: own great companies outside the US.
Most people don't do this, not because they're lazy, because of something normal called home bias. That just means most people only buy what they know. If you live in the US, you see US brands every day, so it feels safe to keep everything here. But your life is already global, even if you don't notice it. Your phone may be designed by a US company, but parts come from places like Taiwan and South Korea. Your car might be built by a Japanese company. The chips inside your devices come from all over the world. The food in your pantry is full of global brands. So owning only US stocks is like saying, I only want one country to win forever. Sometimes that happens for a while, but history moves in cycles. This pillar is not you betting against America. It's you saying, I don't need to guess who wins next. I just want a seat at the table. A broad international ETF, something VXUS style, does that in one simple step. It spreads your money across many countries and many industries. And the big emotional benefit is this. If the US has a slow decade, your whole plan doesn't have to freeze with it. You still have another engine running. Now keep this thought, because the last pillar is the one everyone wants to talk about. It's the fun one, but it only works if the fortress comes first.
Pillar number 5 is the rocket. Its job is also simple. A small slice for faster growth. Not a big slice, a small one, because rockets are powerful, but they are also shaky. This is where you can use a tech or innovation ETF, something QQQ style, that leans toward the companies building the future. But we follow 3 rules here. Rule 1, keep it small. Rule 2, give it time. Rule 3, don't panic sell. This pillar can help, but it can swing hard. Some years it may look amazing. Other years it may drop fast. That's normal for this kind of growth. There are no promises here, just a smart way to participate without putting your whole life on one bet. And here's the key bridge. When the rocket is only a slice, it doesn't control your mood. Your bedrock and cash flow and shield and global mix keep you steady, so you don't make emotional moves. Now you've got safety, cash flow, and growth working together instead of fighting each other. Here's the full fortress blueprint, simple and clean. Pillar 1 is your bedrock. That's your broad US market base. It's the engine that grows over time. Pillar 2 is cash flow. That's your dividend ETF. It pays you along the way, so you're not forced to sell shares just to live. Pillar 3 is the shield. That's your gold slice. Not for growth, for balance. It helps you stay steady when fear is high. Pillar 4 is the escape hatch. That's international stocks. It keeps you from betting your whole future on only one country. And Pillar 5 is the rocket. That's your small growth slice. It's there to add speed, but it never runs the whole ship. Now, a simple starting split could look like this. About 40 to 55% in the bedrock, about 15 to 25% in cash flow, about 5 to 10% in the shield, about 10 to 15% in the escape hatch, and about 5 to 15% in the rocket. Those are ranges on purpose because a 35-year-old and a 65-year-old should not take the exact same risk. This is not a promise, it's a framework. The real win is that every piece has one clear job. And here's how you run it without stress. You go back to the operating system. ABB. Always be buying. Automate your buys on the 1st and 15th. Same plan month after month. Then, 1 or 2 times a year, you do one simple check called rebalancing. That just means if one pillar grows too big, you trim it a little and top up the smaller ones. You're not trying to time the market, you're just keeping the fortress in shape. And this is the identity shift I want you to take with you. Builders don't gamble. Builders follow a plan. If this helped you, hit like, subscribe to this channel, and stay with me, because we're building wealth the calm way, step by step. Now I want to hear from you. Which pillar are you missing right now? Shield, escape hatch, or cash flow? And what made you skip it? Say it in the comments. I read them. Next time, I'm going to show you the